And Debbie, there would have been a time when that would have happened. There would have been a little correction or course altering that I think maybe you would have got a little unraveled. Would there have been a time? And see, that didn't happen. So, congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. You know, and that's what Saturday night is about. It's about dealing with life. Because life is messy, right? Is life not messy? Yes, and because it's always coming at us, right? And we like to make, I don't know about you guys, but I know that I've said this in times past, you know, why does this keep happening to me? Huh? Yes. And the fact of it is, one of those answers that I dislike a lot, and everybody I give it to, really, they don't appreciate it either, and that is, well, maybe it's because that's what I prayed for. I asked God to help me in these particular areas of my life, and then I get a chance to grow. How about you? Yes? Well, I don't know, just something was drawing me in this area over here. So, but, you know, that's the way it is with all of us. Let's be real. And Patty, you did a great job sharing there and being real and being authentic, you know, and just being an example of what you were trying to demonstrate there. And I want you to know I recognize that and I appreciate that. And maybe not everybody else gets the depth of that, but I do. And there's others that do also. And so I appreciate that. And you know, because you know, there's a lot of us that have been around a long time, and we can be around but not be engaged, right? Hello. And that's kind of what Zach was talking about earlier about knowing. You know, you can know this stuff intellectually, but we haven't connected the dots in our heart or in our spirit. We haven't had the experiential understanding at that knowing. Does that mean, do you understand what I'm saying? That level of knowing. Because I was saved and I was even a minister for many years. And my prayer turned to, God, all I want to do is know you. Well, who did I know before? Well, I knew him, but I wanted to know him. I mean, I knew about him, but now I wanted to know him. Does that make sense? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I wanted to know. And that means I wanted to know him at a level deeper than just intellectual understanding. You know, there's so many people I talk to, they know the scriptures. In fact, they may know them even better than I do. But they can't apply those scriptures. They just know them. Okay? It's just words, okay? It's not life. It's not real. And Patty, what you did was real. It was authentic. There's life in what you said because there's transformation going on. Okay? And so I appreciate that. And so I want to share something on step one, if I may. Oh, by the way, I welcome everybody here to Saturday Night Live, and I'm glad you're here. And the one thing I want to do is I want to add to your life. I want to help. I want to support. I can't make you better, but I want to try to help you to be better, right? And if we just get better, I like to say it this way: if I can just get better one notch at a time over a period of time, that adds up, right? Yes. So, step one, which we've already read it several times, but for TV land, I'm going to go ahead and share it again. And we admit we were powerless. This is step one. We admit that we're powerless over our problems and that our lives have become unmanageable. And a lot of people, in our land, a personal survival mechanism. We don't want to accept that we got a problem and that I can't handle it. Because as we grow up, we're socialized to that we have to grow up, and we have to be able to handle it. And yes, I agree with a lot of that. But these areas that we're talking about here, that when we come into an issue, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's acting out, whether it's using or abusing or being an enabler or being codependent. We didn't use that word a while ago, but that's kind of what you were talking about, Debbie. And so, and that is that, codependent means I need you to be sick so that I have something to do and makes me feel better. That's kind of a loose interpretation, but I thought I'd throw that one out there. And huh? You can use it if you want to. But today, it was real early no, it wasn't today. It was yesterday morning, early. I was just, for some reason, I turned over to my notes, and I was looking at step 1, and I saw something different. I tell you all the time I find different things in the steps. So this is something different that I saw. And so this is Doug's thoughts, okay? And that is we admit we were powerless over problems. I dropped out the word "our." And what that means to me is life comes at us. Problems show up. Are you living in the same life that I am? Does problems show up? Do they occur? and it happens, right? And the fact of it is, when they show up, they're unexpected because they always seems like, even if they're coming straight at us, we turn around so it hits us in the back of the head, right? It always comes at us usually, and we're shocked, okay? And the first thing we do when there's a problem comes, we go into a fight or flight or freeze or faint, okay? We go into that survival mechanism to survive, and we have to, all right? But the fact of it is, if we believe that, I was taught in my earlier years in the church that there's something wrong with me if I had a problem. Can you believe that? And I said, you must not know me because I got a bunch of problems. I'm messed up, particularly from the neck up, right? And but I bought into the lingo and used my intellect to try to overcome me. And guess how well that worked out? I did reasonably well. I could fool most people. Okay, right? Do what? Thank God for that. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. And so, but because of all of that, I do get the opportunity to be here, okay? And so those things that I hated and feared the most has come upon me and helped me to be better than I could imagine, okay? And that has to do with dealing with those things that come. And I may feel powerless, okay, because I have normally always felt powerless. I don't know why I should tell this. You want? I gotta? Okay. It flashed in me the first time I was sued. And I said, first time. You caught that, right? And see, I was operating off of a theory that if you do everything right, nothing bad should ever happen to you. John, be careful how you talk to me in these situations, because I could maybe say things that I don't want to say. But maybe I do want to say them, but I shouldn't say. And so, there was this belief because, you read Samson, okay? Samson had a power and a gift that God had given him, but he wasn't being real with himself, okay? He liked the women. He liked beautiful women. I believe, according to my study, he loved her, okay? And I think she saw him as an opportunity, right? I mean, right off the bat, they came up to her and gave her an offer. You tell us and we'll pay you off. But he was deceived. He deceived himself because he was overtaken with her. Oftentimes we hide stuff from us. I mean, we can look straight at it and we don't see it. I've done it. Haven't you? Okay? And then I'll say, why didn't I see that before? And the reason is we see things not the way they are, but the way we are. Well, that's our perception is us. Right? And you made me think a while ago, Debbie, when you were talking a while ago about Max Planck and Dr. Wayne Dyer say that when you change the ways you look at things, those things you look at change. And that's basically what we're talking about here. Should I say that again? Norman Vincent Peale said that? I can't vouch for that, but I'll take your word for it. But I know I was surprised when it originated with Max Planck, which Max Planck was a physicist, okay, back in late 1800s, 1900s, and in the beginning of quantum physics. And so when you change the way you look at things, which is that perception, okay, when you say, wait a minute, maybe there's more to the story, okay, maybe there's something else going on. Maybe there's something I need to get out of this. Maybe this is something that I can learn from. By the way, every situation is something I can gain some learning, some internal transformation from every situation, even if it's a bad situation. Okay? And so when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at begin to change because we see them differently. And maybe we see more of the story. If he would have realized he was being set up from the get-go, and the longer he hung around there, if you'd have went with that guy that called you, you know what? And the enemy always sends things our way when we draw a line and say, I'm not doing it anymore. And he says, really? Let's find out. Right? Isn't that true? Right? How many times have we heard people from right here saying, I decided I was going to stop meth, and then I saw it in my front yard. Right? I've heard several. Others said, I was walking in the convenience store, and there it was beside the door. Okay? Well, there's a part of you that's always looking for it. But the main thing of it is, what are you going to do? Now you say, well, that's not right. That's not fair. I'm saying that's great. That's an opportunity to change. Exactly. It's a golden opportunity because now you say, just like you said it, he called before I would have went. Even though I know. I'd have lied to myself and said it'd be okay, but I knew how it was going to play out because we know the rest of the movie, don't we? If we'll look, but no, we don't want to look. Don't look at the rest of the movie. I'm going to be surprised. How can you be surprised? Because you know what the ending is. Well, not exactly. Well, that's true. Maybe not exactly. You just hope you live through it this time. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, look, play it forward and say, wait a minute, maybe I can make a healthier choice. Congratulations. Okay. Yeah, you did. And you wouldn't have been able to have that mark of growth if you wouldn't have had that opportunity. But let me warn you, you'll get another chance. You have the experience. What? It'll be a better offer. and it may be, but it's still, if you play that movie forward, we know where it's going to go, right? I mean, Samson, it was all about capturing him and calling the enemy in to take him captive, all right? And finally, when she just carried on, I mean, we hang around sick places to get fed with poison, mentally, emotionally, physically. And then we say, it's their fault. I wouldn't have done it if it wouldn't have been for them, right? Because we got to blame somebody. Oh, it's God. God did this to me. Yeah. Oh, the devil did it to me. Oh, yeah, the devil did. Somebody did it to me. It cannot be my fault.
I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't opportune.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And so that is totally negating our personal responsibility for navigating our life.
Is it possible you were saying, why do I keep doing the same thing? Well, it's insanity. I mean, you're going to get the same, you're doing it, you're going to get the same result.
If we continue, listen, this is very important. I know I'm past time. I'm going to beg for forgiveness now and later, okay? But if we keep living our life out of our own personal story that we have told ourselves and that we bought into, I am this way because of this and this and this, if we keep running our life off of our own internal story, and by the way, you all have one. Now, check your story and see how healthy it is. Is it taking you to where you want to go, or is it taking or driving you to the places you don't want to go? And if we keep ending up in the same spot that we have been to before, that's because we're living out of the same old story. Now, you say, well, I didn't mean to make those choices, but see, we have 95%, according to neuroscience, 95% of our decisions are unconscious. That's our story, our unconscious belief systems. Only 5% of our choices or decisions are out of our consciousness, which is insane to think about, but that has been researched. And so the question is, how do we change our unconscious, our non-conscious? How do we change our story? And that's by doing what we're talking about right here. Just what you did. Patty, by putting in the hard work and thinking about where you want to go and where you don't want to go. I don't want to do that because I know where that takes me. It's done that for however many years that it's done it. Right? Yeah. And that's the way it all is, and so I remember a time that I decided I have to face my own stinking giant. I have to turn around and face it. Now, see, the strange thing of it is I knew it was a giant and I knew it was big, but I never looked at it because it's too scary. Now, I know this is abstract, but until I was willing to face my own giant, I was just continually swimming in the cesspool. Trying to do things, learning scriptures, talking to people about Jesus and even getting them saved, because I worked at knowing how to do that. I was pretty good at it. And do it in a way that wasn't offensive. Went to bars, talked to people. They'd run other people off, but they'd let me stay. It's funny. When I was in Nicaragua, we were doing some street witnessing down there. And so I was working with one of the missionaries, one of the local folks, and we were going down this road, and we were passing out tracts. And, of course, I try to say things in Spanish, but I'm not sure what I was saying. But I'd shake their hands and smile, and so I remember coming up to this one doorway, and I looked at this guy, and he's about this tall, he's short. And he looked at me. Of course, he couldn't speak English, and I wasn't speaking Spanish. And I looked at him, and he looked at me like, "Are we going in?" Because it was a bar, or it was a dance hall, or something. I don't remember. We went in all of them. That was just one of the first ones, and I said, "Why not?" And he smiled and stepped in there. So we went in, we went around. There was only one young girl that was unkind going down the whole street, but she wasn't too bad, and it overwhelmed him. But that's where I started. Okay, and then I ended up with you guys. And so, if you're blaming, this is one of my quotes on my paper here, so I might as well use it. If you are blaming, you are still holding on to your problem. If you're blaming somebody, you're holding on to your problem. You're still holding on to it. And you say it's yours. And it's your fault. Does that make sense? I might as well throw this out here while I'm winding down. And I've used Epictetus before. I've used this quote with Epictetus. I want to use the second one, but I'll go ahead and restate the one I've used before. And that is, it's not what happens to you, but it's how you react to what happens to you. And I like this one that's similar. It says, only you can upset yourself about events. The events themselves, no matter how undesirable, can never upset you. See, we don't want to blame events and things, but it's not the event. It's what you think about the event and how you respond. What it means and says to you, how you interpret it. I'll read that again. Only you can upset yourself about events. I'm going to read that again. Only you can upset yourself about events. Yes, I'm going to read that again. Only you, yes, can upset yourself about events. The events themselves, no matter how undesirable, can never upset you. The event itself can never upset you. What do you think about that? I guess Epictetus and me are crazy, right? Yes. You know what? Me too. We were taught that lie.
It's like recently when my son left, and
That's true. That's tough. But it's the truth. And so, I'm just going to shut up. How about that? Thanks, everybody. Love you. You're important to me.